cited our children. We appreciate that. We appreciate that you cited our children. Edith is right down here at this table, ready to announce. Edith, on September 15th, the day that the Giants went into first place, gave birth to our first three grandchildren at 10:01, 10:03, and 10:05 in the morning. And brought them home on Sunday when the Giants went into first place to stay. I hope this will help Art a little bit in what he has to do. And at the other table down front here we have the world's greatest uncle, our son, who's a paraprofessional who pays his dues, which we appreciate a great deal. Nathaniel, who likes to go by our surname, likes to go by Kelly. So you can call Kelly Kelly, even when you're around me, because he's still Kelly. Appreciate the reference to Proposition 24 and our friends at CTA at the CTA table right down here in front. Proposition 25, of course, comes to us from the good people at the California Federation of Teachers, our other affiliate. A good example of what happens when you put teachers in some sort of position of responsibility. You start getting reasonable things on the ballot and things we can all work together on. Now, Hene and I were sworn in as delegates to the Labor Council in 1971. Well, I am old. Hene was much younger then. We've been there ever since. At that time, to help frame this for you, there was only one Mazzola on the executive committee. His name wasn't even Larry, Senior or Junior. There's a whole different Crowley who was involved. There's a different Sharp representing their unions in those days. SUIU only had 3 digits in their name, and they weren't even 790 at that time. Leon Olson, who many of you remember, spoke on an issue of great importance that evening.
The president of the Labor Council was from the hotel and restaurant workers, but he was an Italian, not our current feisty Irishman. The secretary-treasurer wasn't Walter Johnson, or even Jack Crowley, nor Jeff Greendorfer, nor Barney Speckman, or Bob Boileau. And Tim Paulson was somewhere in Minnesota, reading Prince Valiant with a flashlight under his covers, and studying that warrior's hairstyle. He does it very well. Joe Marie Shelley was also sworn in that night. Jim Ballard was the president of our local and tried to let us know that the Labor Council would not be like a faculty meeting, but might be a little rougher. Joan let us know that her father would not have been more proud of her if she had been elected President of the United States. And it was her father, former Labor Council president, state legislator, congressman, and Mayor Jack Shelley, who swore us in.
The Constitution of the Labor Council in those days specified that the role of the sergeant-at-arms was to deal with delegates who were drunk on the floor. The rumor was that you had to show union labels on all your clothes in order to have your credentials accepted to be sworn in. Over the years, we've met at many places. We met at the old Labor Council on 16th Street. We met at the Del Webb Hotel on Market, the Apostleship of the Sea, the Whitcomb Hotel, and its many different names that it's had, the offices of Unite, and of course in the friendly confines of the Plumbers Hall.
I specifically remember dressing the first time I went to Labor Council. I wanted to have seven union labels. You only needed 5, but I really wanted to impress them. And when I came before the trustees, I told them I was ready to show them. But those men weren't interested. And it's been the saddest part of it because I never got to show those labels. And now nobody's interested in looking. Playboy that I was in. They used a wide-angle lens, though. The Constitution of the Labor Council in those days specified that the role of the sergeant-at-arms. Oh no, that's the wrong book. I'm so sorry. David did that to me. There have been memorable moments tucked into all the Mondays that we have spent together with our brothers and sisters. Most of them were good, although some were painful. We had a 103-year-old retired union barber who liked to show up every once in a while and recite a poem he had written for our enjoyment. Most delegates were respectful most of the time. We have debated and passed resolutions opposing too many wars and supporting causes of social justice issues of every stripe. We have marched together, sat in together, organized, mobilized, and risen up when necessary. Some unions have kept the spirit of activism alive in the streets and called on their brothers and sister unions to support their causes, while other unions have maintained their strength through their negotiations and their discipline within their membership.
Our beloved and respected lawyer at that time, Victor Van Voort, came to a meeting of the Labor Council. Big man, the only man whose bathrobe I ever conveniently wore. Came to a meeting, broke down in tears to let us know that Larry Isleong of the Filipino farm workers had just died. For years, Maddie Jackson of the Lady Garment Workers was the only woman in a position of prominence within the council. But that changed with the advent and the election of Nancy Woolforth, Sherry Chiesa, Josie Mooney, Jo Marie Shelley, Peggy Gash, Toto, Connie Ford, Kathy Lipson, and many, many women who have stepped forward to make the San Francisco Labor Council different, and I dare say better than others. Josie became the first woman elected as council president, and he became the first female president.
The labor-neighbor political effort flexes muscle most clearly the day we organized and elected a neophyte to the Board of Supervisors who was named Kevin Shelley.
Yay!
Kevin Shelley. Walter Johnson directed resources to create the position that Amber now fills and saw it go through several competent hands, including, notably, Rich Waller's. Not until the electoral sweep of 2008 has union power been so tellingly displayed. And as with any family, we have suffered disagreements and disappointments. Each of us has not always been all that the others want us him or her to be, but we have been able to stick together and stand as a shining example of what unified labor can be and what labor working together can do.
Now we are faced with a challenge and a task unlike anything that we have seen since Proposition 15 sought to make California a right-to-work state in the 50s. The attack on us has its arrowhead in Proposition B, targeting the unionized municipal employees and our pensions and medical benefits right here in San Francisco. The big money, what Jack Hene would reach down into his claw and call capital, and self-serving politicians can successfully take from unionized employees the benefits we have fought for and negotiated here in this bastion of progressive values, then no union worker and no contract is safe. We must oppose Proposition B with everything we have. We must commit our remaining Saturdays to walk precincts, our nights to phone bank. We cannot lose this fight if we are to remain strong. As teachers, we see the attack on unionized workers on another front. The movie Waiting for Superman paints a deceptive and misleading portrait of the public schools of the United States in order to say that there is only one salvation. The movie offers charter schools as the only way to save children. Despite studies that show charter schools to be no better, no worse than regular public schools, the movie twists and manipulates its story and tries to make union contracts for teachers the source of all civic dysfunction. Nowhere is a mention of the tragic underfunding and the ongoing removal of funds from the schools. Instead, the one villain is the unionized teacher.
Just as the unionized workers' pensions did not cause the collapse of our national economy, the bad teacher narrative has not created the starvation of the schools. We must support one another, brother and sister, in this time of assault on us all. Together, we will continue to organize, to mobilize, to educate, to agitate, to leaflet, to picket, to boycott, and to sit in.
Together, we will stand up for what is right. We will stand up for what is right for our members, for the working people whom we serve, and for our communities. And together, we will win. So join us tonight, please.
Stand up. Stand up now. Stand up and work. Stand up on election day.
Are they great or what?
Yeah!
Okay, brothers and sisters, we're not done yet. I'd like to bring up right now, you mentioned 08, when we worked day and night to make sure that we had the Board of Supervisors that we wanted. I want to bring up right now the president of our Board of Supervisors here in San Francisco, David Chu. Could you please come up?
So in case you're wondering, I came tonight and I saw in the program that I was supposed to give an address. Tim had told me I only had to speak for 2 minutes and wax poetic about Dennis and Hene. So I'm going to give you a quick address, 1261 Howard. All right, that's where we're all supposed to go, right? First of all, yes. First of all, I want to say, when I came tonight, as I was thinking about how to appropriately honor this incredible power couple, I noticed that they were dressed as if they were at the Oscars. Did anyone have that sort of sense that we were all at the Oscars right now? And so it made me think about if there were movie characters that would play Dennis and Hene, who would they be? At first I thought of the liberal political alliance of FDR and Eleanor Roosevelt. What do you guys think? No? Then I thought about the sassiness of Han Solo and Princess Leia. And then I thought about... Sorry, I got Wookiee in the corner. Then I thought about those that make political activism sexy, like Brad and Angelina. Show that sexy, guys. But I think where I ended up was the time eternal character of Bonnie and Clyde. Because Bonnie and Clyde decided one day that things in life were unfair. They decided that civil disobedience was a way of life that they could adopt. And they decided that they wanted to devote their lives to righting the balance between the haves and the have-nots. The students in our classrooms who do not receive everything that society should be giving them. Our teachers who are overworked and underpaid.